My knees are just absolutely killing me. My hands are sore. All my joints are sore. My elbows are sore. Everything's sore. You know what I mean? It's a very, very labor-intensive job over time. You know what I mean? It's not one of those like I just lifted 500 pounds and I'm exhausted. No, it's just like after a couple of weeks of it, you know, walking on the uneven ground and stuff like that, even with it a bit packed, it's not so bad, but your foot's always doing this, right? Slipping, and it's always stressing your joints and stuff like that. And I mean, like the other day I slipped with this, put it right into my knee. That felt great. It felt so good. Yeah. Things happen, and again, I'm not like a fragile little old lady that's falling down all the time. You know, I'm in pretty good shape for my age, and you know, like it doesn't matter. I mean, you go down, you know, like it's just, and sometimes it's not just the fall, it's just that jerking and slipping and stuff like that, where you don't fall, but then, you know, you twist something, and then that's like my left knee's been really bugging me for about week and a half now. It's starting to slowly heal up, but you know, the next slip will take me out again, you know what I mean? Like, so another month and a half of beating my body up is gonna, you know, be a thing to have to deal and recover from. So, you know, I can't wait to get all my furs. I wish I could just catch them all in one night and then just go to town and just kind of just start sawing away on them, getting them up, put up, and get all those nice prime pelts and all that workmanship and craftsmanship all done all in 1 week. But it doesn't work like that, right? But what it does work like, hang on, it works like this. I need new beaver bait, so this tree, and then I go way back. I just saw it, and try to get it down as low as possible. Sorry, got to get this task done. My tomahawk's getting a little bit dull. I don't need it all. I don't need it all. I need, what do I need? I need maybe that. That's what I needed. Just that. If I had the money to hire somebody to cut all this, I would. Perfect beaver stick. Hey, now I'm good to go. And as I was saying, yeah, it's always like little stuff like that. Like, this is going to be beaver food. I'm going to chunk it up. Should get me through the rest of the season. So we got about a month and a half, and then I got to sleep in. I'm going to actually take a day off for the first time in 3 years. Even Christmas Day I was out. You know, New Year's Eve I was out. Mind you, I still went out New Year's Eve or whatever in the evening, but you know, during the day, you know, I was out there trapping, and that's the way it is. You know, that's the way it is. You work for yourself, so you do enjoy it, but you got to learn the pace of it too, because this is a job that a lot of people could lose a lot of money doing this, especially you guys with your big 250, you know, Dodge Ram 250s and 350 Super Duties and all that, and your F-150s. I drive 50 miles every weekend to go check about 5 Martin boxes, spending $100 of fuel. And I'm not making fun of anybody, but I see a couple of people doing that, and it's like, you'd have to bring in a lot of fur to justify that fuel price. You really would. You know, so you got to treat it like a business. It's not just about operating in the black and the red, you know, staying out of the red. It's that's not the goal. The goal is to get into what I call the green zone, where it's like you're not just covering your expenses, you're making an income. You're going to have surplus money at the end of the year, and you're going to have a nice, beautiful, mint condition 1997 Dodge Viper GTS sitting there. Put some good snow tires on it, some chains, and have fun. And then have the other one for the summer. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of delusions of grandeur of how much you can make, but you could make a lot at this if you were well set up. But you got to get those little efficiencies in, and that's, and again, something I'm going to say here, and again, I'm not saying it to be offensive, but it's just something that's true. Truckers, farmers, trappers, any guys like that, they're great workers, they're phenomenal workers. Most of them are horrible businessmen. Most of them are horrible businessmen. That's why they always go bust. So you got to think, not with emotion. Like I always say, it's the guy with the $150,000 tractor cutting a $4,000 a year crop. I was looking at limo services, like people who start limo services. The guy that's making the money out of it, and that's a hard area to make money, for example, right, is limo service. Almost all of them go bust, like 80% of them, right? But the guys that make it, they all start off with a cheap town car for $1,500, $1,600. It looks good. They, they make it go, but they hire a bunch of drivers, and they buy either an old fleet or whatever, or truckers that, they buy the Volvo 670. I was listening to one trucker. This guy is exactly the type of guy I'm talking about. Seemed like a real nice guy talking about why he would never buy a Volvo 670. Okay, whether it's a good truck, bad truck's not what I'm arguing here. But I find Volvo 670s for between $6,000 and $15,000, a gazillion miles on them, but they're fleet trucks and whatever. And you won't buy one because it doesn't look cool enough, and that the nose isn't good enough. So if you hit a moose or whatever, and I get okay, the moose argument is a good one. You want more between you and that moose, I guess. But the odds of it, right? And then all this other stuff, and they look kind of goofy, whatever. Okay, yeah, but if that truck gets 6 miles to the gallon and your old Freightliner gets 4 miles to the gallon of diesel at the price of diesel, businessman says buy the ugly truck. You know what I mean? And it's guys like that like, that's the thing, they're invested with their emotion. So trapping is the same thing, and again, I'm not dissing these guys or whatever, but again, you got these guys, they go out and they buy a $250,000 limo and expect to make money with it. That's if you already have 100 limos making money for you. You know what I mean? Well, traps are the same thing. If you're going to spend $60 of fuel every week, 10 weeks, that's $600. 18 weeks of trapping, you're nearly $1,200 in the hole just for fuel on a snowmobile. You know what I mean? Now you add a truck, yeah, you're talking. Well, my dad's old F-150, back when the gas prices were under $1 a liter, it would be about, at the time they were about $4.50 a gallon if you were to do the gallon equivalent to liters, what we were paying, right? And that thing got like 12 miles to the gallon, right? My CRV gets 25. You know what I mean? It runs on fumes, and of course running back and forth here, it's not very far to go, so that's not so bad. But this week, like now that I'm at the other front, for example, I have to catch at least 4 beavers a week to make it profitable, 6 to make a little more, and 12 beavers a week, I've got an income. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So as soon as I stop catching stuff up there, that's it, I'm pulling the trap. Because even though it doesn't cost me that much per run, $20 a week is $20 a week. You know what I mean? And especially when you got nothing coming in. So I have to invest very smartly. So that's something like that. I'm gonna get it in about a month and a half when I'm done, a little more than a month and a half when I'm done. I might push the beaver trapping out to the end of February. It's cold enough, the furs will be good. I was only going to go to January, but I was anticipating a few more furs than what I have right now. I'm only at 15. Next year, by this time, I should have about 300. But I'm going to reinvest in traps, so a dozen traps about $400 to $600, we'll just say, right? So that's a lot, but that money is going to be very well spent, considering each trap this year is paid for, I guess, those 2 traps that I did lose many years ago. I don't know where maybe they got swept away in the creek, who knows. I'm gonna check there in the spring, because I have a hunch they're probably still down there somewhere that I just forgot, or maybe somebody stole them on me. You never know, right? You lose traps. Document everything so you'll know if you lose traps or not. And what the hell is that? There's like a cabin there. Where the hell did that come from? Huh? What? There's a freaking cabin on the side of the road. That wasn't there before, was it? No. Somebody just put a cabin there. Cool. But anyway, okay, that's odd. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So treat it like a business, because it is. And I always ballpark all my furs at the lowest rate. My goal was 18 furs, 1 fur a week for the entire length of the trapping, which I don't trap the entire length of the season, but it would work out to about 18 weeks of trapping. The early season furs and the late season furs aren't worth anything, so they're not worth your time. But go with the lowest possible price that way, because you're going to be disappointed in the work you put in versus what you get out. Again, this is where the efficiencies come in. Like, I already know this because I've done this before, so that's why you know, I do the things the way I do. It doesn't mean I do everything right. It's just I do them a certain way so that it doesn't cost me anything. So I'm not losing, because every little cost you add, you know, you have to make that much more to compensate for it. So the idea is not just to break even, but to actually get into the green zone and make money, cha-ching, which you can do, but you got to be well set up, and you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. My trapping plan seems to be working pretty good with the beavers anyway. Why? Because I know the magic of the beaver stick. And yeah, these things are good. And I've got a few little innovations just to make these things more practical for bait. So yeah, there we go. So I guess I better get my ass in gear before the sun goes down and get that otter skin. But I'm going to have lunch first. I'm getting hungry. All right, have a great day, eh?